Hello everyone, this is Steve with the Free Bullion Investment Guide. Today is August 17th, and I'm doing a review and outlook for the US dollar. This is the US dollar's daily chart. It's been about 2 weeks since I posted a video, mostly because of all the erratic activity out of the US dollar and out of other assets, and I really just was waiting for all the dust to settle after all the movement out of the dollar, and we did have it crash down to about the $97 level, and then this week we've seen the dollar pick back up, and the reason behind is mostly because of the trade issues. We had about 2 weeks ago Trump threaten more tariffs on the Chinese, and then just this past week we had those threatened tariffs and other tariffs lifted on mostly tech items until I believe December 15th, which helped the dollar rise back up. Now it seems like the dollar is getting a little long in the tooth. It's been rising for the last 5 days in a row, or let me see here, 4 days in a row, and I think that we're going to start seeing it come back down. Now, real quick, I did show you this large rising wedge in the last video. It was basically denied when the dollar fell, but then it broke back up. It confirmed the trend line again. But for next week, I'm really just going to expand it to that new low that it made. I believe that was early. It was on the 9th, so that was on Friday, that it made that new low, and I believe that was also had to deal with the I believe really that was the day that I think the stock market fell by 800 points, and because of the yield curve was inverted. And that really shook things up in the market, as anybody else who knows or has been paying any attention to the markets, which the financial media has just been crying that we're going to see a recession, we're going to see a recession. And not every time we see a yield curve inversion do we see a recession, at least not right away. I believe it's like 7 out of 10 times we have seen it in the next 2 years. So I mean, we've been past due for some kind of recession or pullback for the last 5 or 6 years, I believe. So we are due for some kind of pullback in the market, major market pullback, and a recession of some sort. For people to believe that the good times are always going to roll is just lunacy. There's always going to be a pullback in markets. But anyways, to get on the dollar's outlook, what I am seeing is, one, we still have this large rising wedge, so that is a negative in the market for the dollar. And I am also showing another more slender rising wedge, which I wouldn't be surprised if it was broken sometime next week. Now, as far as things in the news next week, we have Jackson Hole coming up next week. Jackson Hole is in, I believe it's in Wyoming, or it might be in Kansas. I don't know. Let's do a Google search here real quick. And it's in Wyoming. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Anyways, that's where all the central bankers come together and talk about the world economy. And there's no doubt that traders and the financial media will all be paying attention to what everybody says there. And on the 23rd, next Friday, Jerome Powell, our our chairman of the central bank, will be speaking. So again, the financial media will be hanging on his every word. So it's likely that we'll see the dollar move in one way or another after his speech. What that way is anybody's guess. So for the week to come, I am seeing the dollar have a double negative, so we should see it come down in price. It does look like it's rising both in the MACD and the RSI, but it also looks kind of like it's about to turn over as well. So kind of like what it's showing here. So we do have actually this 98.10 level is now a support level, but I really wonder how long it will stay a support level because I expect it to fall back below it. May stop at the 97.60 level, the 97.45 before we see a bounce, or it may continue down, confirming both of these patterns before the end of next week or by the end of next week, depending on what Jerome Powell says. But I'm willing to bet that at the next Fed meeting, which is on September 17th and 18th, that we will see another rate drop. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 50 basis point rate drop because of the inverted yield curve, but we'll have to see what happens. So anyways, that's it for this week's review and outlook. I thank you for your time. Take care and God bless.